Hello again. So what I just got done showing you guys is some of the more significant dates of the year and where the sun presently rises and where it rose 4,000 years ago on those dates. But please remember those 21sts, the March 21st, the start of the celestial new year, where the sun goes across the celestial equator while it's on the ecliptic, right? Um, and then that's obviously the March uh, equinox. Then June 21, the June solstice. The sun used to rise in Cancer. That is why the Tropic of Cancer became called that. In December 21, the December solstice, the sun rises or used to rise in Capricorn. In that latitude that it rose the farthest south or climbed the farthest south away from the equator in the southern hemisphere, it became the Tropic of Capricorn. Then you go back to September 21, and that again is then a equinox, September equinox, the boundary, the sunshine, it'll rise due east. Day and night goes right through the North and South Pole. 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness, okay? And it's neat to see there. You can adjust these on those different time frames. So if I go September 21 right there, let me go AM, and I don't know, let's go 6:54. All right, let's go 7:54. And I'm going to look to the east right there as the sun's coming up. I'm going to hide the horizon, and I'm going to show constellations. Boom. And it's right there coming up in Virgo. Okay? Now remember, many thousands of years ago, I think I drew that coming up around Libra is what I drew on our whiteboard there. So 2020 BC, how about 3000 BC? It's right there in Libra. So anyway, it's neat to see what those do. And all I got to do is click home, and it takes me back to today's date right now. So please remember those significant dates of the year. Now what I'd like to do is remind you again of something called circumpolar constellations. All right, so if I show constellations, boom, and I look towards the north, boom, and look at the North Star there. I said if we go fairly close to the North Star and make a bit of a radius here, the main constellations we bump into, Ursa Minor, that is a circumpolar. It's visible all year long, okay, for where we're at in the northern latitudes. Mid-northern, the constellation Draco, circumpolar. Ursa Major, Cepheus is what that one is called, how you pronounce it in Cassiopeia. This one, Camelopardalis, pardalis, it means a giraffe. It's a very nondescript constellation. We won't really, you don't really see it much. Cepheus is a very dim one too. So is Draco for the most part. A lot of these circumpolar constellations for the northern hemisphere are pretty nondescript, all right? But then what I want you to remember is, okay, remember our zenith. If we look straight up here in Cincinnati in the summertime, this is September 5th. We're still in the summer. I know school started, but summer is July, August, September. Very high in the sky, the constellations that are high and prominent. These are what I want you to remember as summer constellations. The first one, again, see that zenith right there a few hours ago was very close to this constellation Vega, or the constellation Lyra. Now it's very close to this star Deneb in the constellation Cygnus. And remember, this constellation Cygnus with Deneb, Lyra with Vega, and Aquila with Altair make the summer triangle. All right, please remember those three constellations and those three stars and associate them with summertime because they're very high in the sky and they're very, very bright stars. So this summer triangle, I want you to know as an asterism, which is just a collection of stars. They are in three different constellations. So remember, summer constellations: Lyra, Cygnus, Aquila. All right? There are several others that I want you to remember associated with summertime. This is the constellation Hercules. It's hard to envision, but it's obviously, this is like his body, his arms and legs, okay? The center of Hercules they call the keystone. It kind of looks like the keystone at the top of a stone type bridge that you read about in when the Romans built those crazy aqueducts, huh? But please remember Hercules and associate that with a summer constellation. It's very high in the sky. See how there's your zenith, and there will be times in the summer when Hercules is pretty much at your zenith, okay? So again, we're looking pretty high to the south. Southwest here is where we're finding these particular constellations. So in our neck of the planet to the south is where the majority of our activity is. You can see at this time of night, 11 o'clock, the majority of Scorpius is now gone below the horizon. But if I rewind that to say 8:59, so 9 o'clock, Scorpius is going to be most visible in the summer, okay? Most visible in the summer. And please remember that star Antares associated with Scorpion. The Scorpio, it's said to be the heart of the Scorpion. It's right there. It's blood red. They call it the heart of the Scorpion, Antares. Okay, so please, there's been a few that we've already said, okay? Hercules is the summer constellation. Ooh, see how your zenith here a few hours ago? This was at 9 o'clock. Your zenith was right there at Libra. Or at Lyra, sorry. Is it Lyra? The constellation Lyra, the star Vega. There's Cygnus with Deneb. Okay, there's Aquila with Altair. So there is our summer constellation, our summer triangle asterism. All right, and other star or other constellations to associate with summer. This one is called Ophiuchus. It's an interesting story about a doctor, how he became known, and a veterinarian too. But in his leg here, kind of goes through the ecliptic a little bit. It's interesting how if we show the ecliptic, it does kind of go through here, but many thousands of years ago, that constellation just wasn't recognized as part of the ecliptic, so it isn't. But Ophiuchus is a very large, in terms of surface area, constellation in the summer sky, which is why I want you to kind of know it. It just kind of looks, I don't know, whatever shape you care to call that. This Serpens cauda and Serpens caput. That means head. Cauda means tail. So this is the tail and the head of a serpens, which is a snake. And so Ophiuchus actually kind of bisects or cuts in half a constellation known as Serpens. He's a doctor, a veterinarian carrying a snake. And so it's a very interesting relationship. But anyway, Ophiuchus is a summer constellation I want you to know. Okay, along with Scorpius, along with Sagittarius, they're most visible in the summer. I'm going to also mention a little bit about Capricorn here. Very nondescript again. This one is a hard constellation to make out. It just kind of looks, I don't know, however you care to call it. But the neat thing about that constellation again is it is exact opposite the sky on our first day of winter, right? Or no, of summer, on our first day of summer. Excuse me, I had that wrong. Our first day of summer, we look to the sky. The sun is rising in Cancer, which means the exact opposite side of the sky, right at sunset, would be this Capricorn, coming right over the horizon, kind of defining what summertime is. But anyway, summer constellations, please remember those. Now, what you'll see lower in the sky now in the east, just coming up in the east, even as late as 9 o'clock p.m., just rising in the east. I'll get a little earlier, 8 o'clock p.m. See how Pegasus is just now coming up. See, this late in the summer, Pegasus is just now starting to rise, and as we go through into September, November, September, October, see how it's much higher in the sky now all of a sudden in October. Here's November. See how much higher it is in the sky in November along with Pisces. So now we're into the fall constellations. And if I go way over here, see some of those are much lower in the sky in the west. They're already starting to set at this point. So Hercules is much lower in the sky now. And so is Lyra. They're getting towards setting at this even early time. So those constellations have migrated across the sky. They're almost below the horizon as night is upon us. And so now we're into the fall constellations, the ones, excuse me, that are much higher and prominent in the sky. One of the largest constellations surface area-wise is Pegasus. So this great square of Pegasus I want you to associate with fall. The constellation Andromeda and its relationship to Pegasus I want you to also associate with fall. See how Pisces is right underneath Pegasus there. They kind of share a meridian. Please remember Pisces as a very good fall constellation. Perseus is another good fall constellation. Okay, let me get till, I don't know, 10 p.m. Perseus being a good one. Pisces. Well, there's Aries again. That should make sense as we're defining fall. I'm going to look around here. There's some major. Draco, Hercules again is setting in the west. Aquila, Aquarius, you don't really see much. Uranus, Perseus, Cepheus, yeah. Oh, Auriga, there it is. With Perseus and Auriga, the charioteer in that star, Capella, is a very, very bright star, and it's been known to fluctuate in brightness quite a bit. It's a very neat star to see, but in the fall here, I want you to remember Pegasus and Andromeda, along with Pisces. Perseus, again, is another very neat constellation to know the story of. That star right there, Algol, is a very bright star, a very good one to know and associate with fall with the constellation Perseus. Okay, and Auriga, the charioteer, and that star Capella, please remember that. Okay, so certain fall constellations fairly high in the sky in November. Pegasus, Andromeda, Pisces, Perseus. There's Aries again, the significance of that one starting with the fall. Perseus has Algol, Auriga has Capella. All right, so there's two of the seasonal constellations and a little bit more about it.